Greetings to you all. My name is László Szabó from Growww Digital, and I would like to welcome you all on today's CE e-commerce export webinar. Please, could you type anything if you can hear me, right? Hi, René. Nice, just a few feedbacks, whether the technical background is all right. Okay, thank you very much. So, yep, I would like to greet you all on today's special event. We're waiting still for some attendees, so maybe let's see some general info. I would like to ask my colleague for the presentation and some housekeeping rules about the event. Let's wait a bit. There are 41 attendees so far. Bronya's loading. Okay, thank you. So today's webinar is organized by Growww Digital. I'm the co-founder of Growww Digital. I'm going to tell a few words about the company a bit later. Our supporters for this event are being Google, as we are part of the international growth program with Growww Digital, Expandeco. These are the guys who should you turn to if you need anything with customer support and logistics. Zásielkovňa, they helped us with the promotion. Also, CEE Digital Alliance, ROI Shopper, the first Central Eastern European agency, CSS, like comparison shopping service solution, and the CE e-commerce export mastermind group. We're going to talk about it a bit later, this part. Let's go for the program. The short introduction, which is a bit overshot for 10 minutes. We write this part. The first presentation is going to be my presentation from Growww Digital about calculating business potential when entering a foreign market. And I'm also going to have a few words about low-hanging fruits in terms of digital marketing. When you enter a market, first, what to validate, how to calculate the business potential, how to calculate the costs, and later on, what low-hanging fruits you should start with, what kind of digital marketing tactics you should use. Afterwards, our friends from Hungary and Google are going to have a presentation about Google's methodology on planning and executing a successful export strategy. I believe that they can join us. We had some technical difficulties with joining them, but I believe that it's going to be all right until the end of my presentation. The third one is going to be our long-term friend Jakub Zielinczan from Berlin Brands Group as a CMO. He's going to tell us a few words and a few thoughts about the Berlin Brands Group case study. So their story, how they entered first the Slovak market, then a few other markets, and now after 8 to 10 years, how they ended up as a 35 million euro turnover company, being involved in 7 Central Eastern European countries. And last but not least, Tomáš Vrtík from Expandeco is going to tell you about his approach to the global market from customer support, logistics, and localization point of view. And it also is going to include a reverse logistics case study from Biblu. So, yep, I see there are 45 attendees here. Some housekeeping rules and key points. There will be a Q&A session after each presentation in case you have any questions. Because of the number of participants, you are not going to be given microphone rights, sorry, and the platform is not capable of doing so. So, yep, we're going to have a Q&A session after each presentation, so you can ask the presenter what you would like to know from him. In the meantime, during the presentation, feel free to ask your questions. Right. The webinar will be recorded, or the most sessions will be recorded, except for Google's presentation. So because their presentation is so secret that we can't record it, unfortunately. And it's going to have a lot of insight. So feel free to take notes. But after the end, we're going to cut the presentations and we're going to share with you all the videos from the event. Yeah. Thank you. we can move to my presentation. I would like to ask for the colleagues. It takes a bit of time, but we'll get used to it. Yep, this is basically the same, just once more at the beginning. Yep, so let's start with the main topic about calculating business potential and long-hanging fruits. First, when I hear somebody presenting, my first question, as being in the audience, is asking myself, why should I hear him out or hear her out? So just a few thoughts about myself. My name is Laszlo Sabo. Once more, I'm the co-founder of Growww Digital, the CEE digital marketing agency. For the past 15 years, I've been working on the axis of Budapest, Bratislava, and Prague. I was born in Dunajská Streda, Dunajská in Slovakia, and I reside there. And we operate in the CEE Eastern European region with our agency. And starting from this year, at the beginning, personally, I'm the Google certified trainer for export for Czech Republic and Slovakia. Yeah, as for Growww Digital, like I mentioned, full service digital marketing agency. Just two numbers. I'm really a man of numbers, if you know me. We have a 72% year-in client growth for the past 4 years. Our net promoter score is 75, and we deal with success stories in the Central Eastern European region. Yeah, just a few examples you can see here. We've been there for a lot of Czech companies, including MOL, Alza, Kifli, like that's Rohlik, the Hungarian version of Rohlik, Kitari, entering Biblu, entering our region. Let me start with a quick story. On the story on the left, you can see Peter and Dominic, who are high school friends, and you can see them in a red van. So they went to high school to Vienna together. These two guys from Bratislava, and on the way back, they bought some electronic goods, put it in the van, shipped back to Bratislava to a flat, and in the back room of a flat, they stored it and started to sell it. They founded a web shop, and later on, after 10 years, they entered countries like Hungary, Czech Republic, Croatia, Romania, Slovenia, and Bulgaria. And until today, like their last year's turnover was 35 million euros from those 7 countries. With Growww Digital, we were lucky to cooperate with them for 4.5 years. So it was a great experience for us both. And we're going to have Jakub as CMO of Electronic Star, or sorry, Berlin Brands Group now. It's a Berlin Brands Group to tell a bit about their secret sauce, what they do, how they do it. So this was the motivational slide for you that I hope that a lot of Peters and Dominics sit in the rows in front of your monitors. I wish you nearly as big or huge growth from both business and personal side as in their case. Yeah. Regarding my presentation, I'm going to talk about 2 plus 1 things. The first one is the validation and the preparation part. The first, how you should approach choosing a market, where to export. I'm going to show you, it's going to be a showcase of a 1-day validation process when we cooperate with our clients, and there's a decision to be made to enter a market, in whether it's in Central Eastern Europe or Western Europe or just globally. It's always better to plan ahead than to not plan ahead and make your first mistakes in an Excel sheet. So I'm going to show you how we approach this problem, what tools do we use, how we calculate business potential, how we do market sizing and cost estimations. The second part is going to be about execution. The first about the role of digital marketing, low-hanging fruits, higher-hanging fruits, and then what digital marketing activities to centralize, what activities to rather localize. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a special offer from our point of view. Yep. First about marketing info and trends. CEE big picture, in numbers, there are more than 20 countries. I mean, it depends on the definition of Central Eastern Europe. Sometimes Germany counts into it, sometimes Russia, but our perception is basically on the map. It's more than 20 countries, and it's 60% of their GDP is export, which is pretty strong. Overall, it has 200 million of population. Luckily, or unfortunately, or fortunately, it is fragmented. So unfortunately, because if you enter a new country, you have to localize your customer support, your operations, your website content, etc., etc., etc. But fortunately, because for the big guys like Amazon, eBay, it's not. Those little fragmented markets are not enough, to be on top of their priority list. So my main message here from this slide is that it has never been so easy or straightforward to do export within Central Eastern Europe. So the legislation has never been so allowing within EU. The connections, the logistics has never been so straightforward and quick to manage within Central Eastern Europe. And in terms of reach and digital marketing, thanks to platforms like Google and Facebook, that you have unified ways of advertising and localizing your digital marketing. Of course, there are some exceptions, like Czech Republic with SOCDEM, where you should learn the local platform, but it's rather an exception than a rule. And yep, one more interesting thing, that there are about 120 million internet users, with more than around 90 million smartphones. These were statistics by Google. Regarding market sizes and market growth, the big picture, on the horizontal axis you can see online ad spend per capita, and on the vertical axis you can see year-on-year growth of the market, and these are ad spend figures by IAB, joined or aggregated for each country, and the sizes of the bubbles are the bigger the bubble, the bigger the ad spend in the country is. So on the right side, you can see in the green area the so-called developed markets like UK, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, Switzerland, Norway, Ireland, etc. So these countries figure with a higher online ad spend per capita, meaning that if you wish to enter those markets, you pay more for a user to reach, or for that user to click. On the upper left side, you can see the emerging markets, where you can see most of the CEE region countries like Romania, Slovenia, Hungary, Slovakia, Czech Republic, etc., etc. So here you can see, despite the sizes of the bubbles are being small, so the markets are being slow, you can see a pretty high growth rate in terms of online ad spend on these markets, and it's not even coronavirus stats or data involved in this statistics. So it's basically peace times or normal times. I mean, two things, or two main ideas if you're considering which market to choose or which market to go to. The first one is you should consider the cost of entering the market, which is, the more on the left side, you can see the countries of bubbles is the easier to step into. And second is the year-on-year growth rate. The higher the countries are, the better for you. So the left higher partition of the graph makes you can see that validates that it makes the CEE countries pretty lucrative to go into. Some more data, and this is this year's data based on more than 170 e-commerce merchants. We have a tool called ROI Miner, which is for Google Ads audits, and we have more than 1,200 Google Ads audits as per today, and we can see the the statistics of a few accounts, like namely it's more than 170 e-commerce accounts. You can see Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovakia, and Poland with different colors, and these are your weekly data for this year, for 2020, for Google Ads weekly costs. And you can see that the first full week of the January is the benchmark, so it's 100%, and all the other data is benchmarked against the first January week. So you can see that how basically Czechs were the most cautious ones at the beginning when the corona situation hit in. They decreased in the beginning of March. They decreased their online ad spend, but after that, when they saw that basically market demand went up, they instantly increased it, and it went up to 150% in average. And now during the holiday times, it has decreased a bit, but we expect it to be at this higher level. Another figure is market demand, a bit similar data source, and a similar graph. You can see 100% is the January's first week benchmark. It says about market demand that like transactions are with blue, and transaction revenue and revenues are with red line. And you can see how after March, in mid-March, the end of the March, beginning of April, basically the numbers transactions went up, and transaction revenue just skyrocketed, nearly, or in some cases more than doubled in total, meaning that the buying power went online during the pandemic situation, and it really in a few cases we saw that new buyers or first-time buyers appeared on the market who like naturally couldn't or wouldn't buy online, wouldn't buy offline in offline shops and brick-and-mortar shops, and went online. We see it as a huge this unfortunate situation from a health point of view is fortunate from a e-commerce business point of view, or it's rather a business opportunity for the e-commerce portals, which you can see that pretty much the market demand have risen after a quick time, and it's still on the same higher level, and it hasn't decreased significantly since then. So it still moves between the +50, +100% in terms of transactions and transactional revenue. Regarding market demand, some more KPIs. Why was it? Why has it increased? Because of the sessions. Like sessions basically skyrocketed. People started searching online. They started also buying online, but looking for products online, and instead of offline, looking more into online. And you see that conversion rate has also slightly increased by around 20–30%. So these two factors, like the skyrocketing of the sessions and the slight increase of the conversion rate, caused this huge leap forward in terms of transaction revenue and transactions. Yep, current market info. If you'd like to be interested in more detailed graphs, we do have a live dashboard with also with those numbers I just sent you involved on www.growwdigital.com/COVID. Yep, and here comes my first question. Looks like my internet connection is breaking a bit, but should be fine. Yep, this is going to be, we're going to have a few interactive parts. Please choose, it's a multiple choice question. I would like to be interested in which countries are you present in, or are you planning to be present? Hungary, Czechia, Slovakia, Romania, Slovenia, Serbia, Croatia, or other. The basic rule with my colleagues is that we're going to wait for a few answers. And if the pace of the answers just slows down, we're going to publish the statistics. Don't worry, your personal choices are not going to be published. It's going to show just aggregated data. Yep. it seems like 44% voted, and yep, the most popular being Czechia. 27 people responded out of the 62 being present, and 26 are in Czechia. So I see that mainly Czechs, dobrý deň, are current during today's webinar. Sorry, no, pardon me, it was Slovakia, but dobrý deň was in Slovakia anyway. So Czechs are 21, Hungary 22. Okay, and of course it has been a multiple choice question, so you could be in more countries. Thank you very much. Yep, I promised you something like a one validation, how we approach this business validation. Here's one of my favorite thoughts from Warren Buffett, who says that an idiot with a plan can be the genius without a plan. So meaning that I would strongly suggest to plan ahead. It doesn't matter if your plan is overly ambitious, doesn't matter if it's too conservative, just plan. If you learn fast enough, your second plan or third plan is going to be, or third planning process is going to be way better than the first planning process. Just start with it. We have 3 main points regarding the one-day validation. The first one is looking at marketing info. We're going to deep dive into that. The second is estimating market size, doing the market sizing, and the third is doing the math, really the cost calculation. So as I said earlier, our saying is that let's go bankrupt in Excel sheets, and let's not try opening countries with a try and fail method. It might work, but we've seen a lot of cases where it just simply doesn't. So as for marketing info tools, you for surely know SimilarWeb. We go from the basic ones to the most advanced ones. SimilarWeb.com. There you can see that you can basically monitor your competitors. Which, if you have competitors on the market, I believe that that is good news, basically, because if you don't have to educate the whole market yourself, it's a lot of it's more players. It's on the shoulders of more players. It's always the easier part. So you can see OZA and MOL comparison in Hungary, despite the fact that OZA entered Hungary, I think, 4 years ago, and more than 10 years ago. So MOL had a 8 to 10 years advantage. OZA has already surpassed MOL in terms of traffic. It's 2.5 times higher is its traffic. And when you click on the detailed statistics in SimilarWeb, you can see also the traffic sources, which might be a good inspiration for you where to put your digital marketing efforts. Search, social, emailing, etc., etc. So that might be a really good one. You can see that relatively there is no big difference between OZA and MOL's marketing mix for the first side, but of course here we can't see the offline channels and the ATL campaigns. Okay, second one as an inspiration is the Facebook targeting platform. Here we are looking at Szállás.hu, which is the biggest Hungarian, basically is the Hungarian booking.com, so the biggest Hungarian online accommodation booking platform. And here we can see their social demographic data of of the people who like Szállás.hu, and here you can see that men aged from 18 to 24 are overrepresented in that dark blue column down there, and the gray behind you can see basically that's the average data. And the other very interesting graph here is the relationship status. So here we can see that single people are underrepresented, and people in relationship or married or engaged are overrepresented. So it's relatively boring to, I assume that it's relatively boring to go and find booking when you're a single elderly woman based on these data. Yep, some more marketing for tools for merchants. I suggest you to register on AliExpress and select your categories, and I don't know if it's paid yet, but it should be pretty much free until the registration part. And you can see category-based reports from AliExpress, like regarding market demand. So what are the trending categories? What goods should you sell? It's a great inspiration. The same therapy.com is based on eBay and Amazon data. These are, of course, paid services, but basically their price is just peanuts in comparison to the knowledge and the information you can get out of those systems. Yep, if you going for the market sizing, if we do it in two ways. The first is through Google Market Explorer platform, which basically Google or the agencies inside the International Growth Program have access to. You can see this is the lightning category in terms of CEE countries, where in the columns down there on the right below corner, you can see Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia, and you see different scoring criteria like category interest, GDP per capita, category interest growth, and category costs. You can see that Czechia has the highest GDP per capita and the highest category interest of people. This is based on the Google search data, and the category interest growth is the highest in Romania. So it also helps you to prioritize amongst countries, which countries to choose from. This is basically the same data on the chart, which shows that you see, as I mentioned, Czech Republic is highest in category interest and Romania is highest in category growth. In this manner, in this category, Slovakia did not score too good, but I wouldn't generalize that. It just appears to be true for this category. Yep, another interesting graph is the search volume it's for quarters, going up and down with the seasonality. But the interesting part is the year-on-year comparison, where you can see that searches from computers also have an increase year-over-year, but the boost is in mobile devices. So the learning point from this graph is that you shouldn't forget that your users no longer just sit in front of the computer and type in and buy your products, but within the consideration phase, mobile gets more and more emphasis in the past years, and it's not going to stop for a while. So this is a pretty strong trend. Yep, maybe some more info about this is a yearly comparison. How each year, you can see each year from 2016 to 2020 with different colors. They compare it to each other. The interesting part is maybe the category interest. You can see on the purple line that it went up in April and May. It's an e-commerce category, the lightning category still. So yep, you can see here that the positive impact of online searches, of the positive impact for online searches of the pandemic situation, of people staying at home. Yep, the category impressions are a bit false, because as you can see on the red graph, I think it was Hungarian or Slovak data, Google Shopping entered a lot of Central Eastern European countries. So that's which basically meant that more impressions were available for one search in Google. So that might be a bit misleading, but still you can see that also thanks to Google Shopping, category clicks have increased pretty much significantly from the implementation of Google Shopping. Thank you, Google, for that. Okay, the second way how we validate market sizing is a pretty straightforward one, but needs to be handled very carefully. It's through a Google keyword tool. So we grab all the keywords from the XML. We grab the general keywords. We combine them into branded searches. We put it into Google keyword tool. we set the strictness so it's not too broad and again not too narrow, and we estimate the monthly search volume of basically the relevant impression from business-wise. If you're familiar with the Avinash Kaushik's See, Think, Do, Care model, this is for the think and do part. If you're not, I strongly suggest to educate yourself in that one. It's a very useful framework for digital marketing, content marketing, and measurement. Yep, and here you can see in the table like the impressions, and we plan carefully for each and every channel, meaning that for Google search, for organic, with expected CTRs, expected CPCs, this way we calculate the costs with also an estimated conversion rate. So at the very end, you can see a total revenue for each country, and divided by different channels, and also with a cost calculation and basically cost of sale, like in Czech Republic and Slovakia you say P&O calculation. So this way we can avoid the try and fail method of entering the country. We can avoid that we should go into a country where it's too small or not economically sustainable to stay in. Yep, another maybe cost side calculation. Here you can see we do it. Sometimes we do it even for years. Like we estimate the different years, weighing and putting different weights on different channels. Like to be fair, I mean we also do PPC since the beginning with Growww Digital. But to be fair, PPC is one of the most expensive ways how to grow your business. So after a time you should and you don't want to be dependent on just a few platforms like Google and Facebook PPC. So you should start building brand awareness, and you should start gathering your database, remarketing those users through retention campaigns, through emails, etc., etc. Yep, a quick question. For you, the second question I would like to ask thank you, is whether you are consciously planning for the future. The first option is I have a detailed plan. The second is you go by main KPIs, like you have set ROAS, market share, etc. And the third one is you go just simply try and fail, try and error. Yeah, we'll wait just a few seconds. Yep, 30% gave an answer. Okay, 3% out of the whole, but out of the people who have given answer is just 10% have a detailed plan. Congratulations, that's great. I'm a big fan of yours. 5 times more, so 50% go by main KPIs. ROAS, market share, great. Still great. I mean, thumbs up for you guys. Trial and error. I would suggest you to reconsider this strategy. It might not be a good one for you at the end. But we still have to say that we're still at the very early stage of internet penetration. Sorry, a hard word. So for example, in countries like Hungary, Slovakia, the e-commerce share within the whole retail is below 10%, so something like 6+%. In Czech Republic, it's a bit above 10%, but when we look at US, UK, and Western European data, we see that it's way between 10 to 15%. So my point here being that at this very early stage, you can still afford making this try and fail method, but it's not going to last for long, I assure you. Yep, validation, most common mistakes. Basically, there are two what we deal with when doing this kind of validations with our clients. The first is when we calculate with non-existing demand. When doing this kind of planning, I tend to, or I suggest to divide two things. The first is the facts, and the second is the opinions. Because opinions are great, and we need hypotheses, but we need to plan it in advance and check the facts. I mean, basic fact checking, because you have the tools like Google Keyword tool, the Facebook audience planning tool, the similar web, etc., etc. So it's pretty straightforward. If you have there's a high probability then in most cases, in the most niche e-commerce segments, you're going to have a competition also abroad. These markets in the CE are not underdeveloped, but still the competition is there, but not strong enough. So this means this is a great opportunity. So you can check market demand on those countries with the methods I've just shown above. The second common mistake or misconception is being overly optimistic with the project ability to monetize. In KPIs, meaning being optimistic with conversion rates or basket values. So assuming that I don't know, you come from Slovakia or Czech Republic to Romania or Hungary, which is a more general way to go than the other way around in terms of Central Eastern European export. It's a lot of times it's overly optimistic to count with higher basket values and your current conversion rates, like with conversion rates that you have at your domestic countries, with higher brand awareness, higher portion of direct traffic, higher portion of email traffic, etc., etc. So I would like you to avoid these two common mistakes in the future. If you do it, if you don't, then it's even better. Great. My second part is the low-hanging fruits in digital marketing. This is going to be a shorter part, a lot shorter. Just a basic concept is if you can enter a market two ways. Like the first one is gathering the lowest hanging fruits and going with the channels that you invest €1 or 1 forint in, and you get at least €1 or 1 forint in margins out of that, and growing from downside up, down up. And the other way is to go up down, which for example, that it has happened a few times, like EMAG went this way into Hungary with many 100 million forints of investment, and a good one of the most profitable campaigns we had with mall.hu was the Black Friday institution. I believe that within Central Eastern Europe it came from Romania, and EMAG certainly has a big part in playing a big role in the Black Friday institution coming into all the countries, and it entered into Hungary also with huge ATL campaigns, huge television campaigns about Black Friday. And what they just forgot is to advertise on the keywords of Black Friday or Black Friday EMAG, and with Mall we were sneaky enough to advertise on those few keywords, thanking for EMAG, and those were the one of the most profitable campaigns we had for that period. So this just a thing about not forgetting the low hanging fruits, even if you go from upwards down. But I would suggest you to go from downside up, from the lowest hanging fruits, but let's not forget about building brand awareness, because otherwise, after a time, it's pretty much essential and needed, because you're going to be logged into your ROIs and cost of sales, and you're going to be basically hostage of the different platforms. So you need to, and at the later stage, you need to work on those. When talking about channels, this is a paradigm of which parts to centralize and which parts to localize. In terms of your content, I'm 100% sure that it's a must to localize. You can't go, maybe a borderline area is Czech Republic going to Slovakia, because Slovaks at the early stage usually don't have problem in buying on Czech sites, but usually most of the Central Eastern European nations like to or prefer to buy on sites which are being built in their own language. The second is the SEO. It makes sense to centralize the technical SEO part, mainly if you have more portals or more sites. It doesn't make any sense to divide them and develop them separately. But on-site working and off-site link building needs to be localized. Link building is a very sensitive issue. You need to have trusted partners in all the countries for that to not to have the controversial effect of link building on sites with bad reputation. PPC, yeah. We have a lot of, thanks to Google and Facebook infrastructure, we have a lot of low-hanging fruits in PPC. So you can start with DSA campaigns, price aggregators, or even smart shopping without really even knowing the language. So that's great. In terms of smart shopping, we used to say that there's a 70% rule, that if you're okay with delivering just 70% of the results or the revenues, total revenues, you can still choose the centralized part, but it gets more interesting when it comes to the localized part, with Google Shopping the 100% rule, going for it, or writing tag stats or GDN or YouTube, or even managing your price aggregators locally. It has a clear added value. In terms of social media management, I would say that localized social media management is a must. You need to have people who live and eat and work there at those countries you export to. In terms of email marketing, on a system level, it makes a lot of sense to centralize, but I would suggest to localize local campaigns, because again, you need people who live and breathe the air of that country to get the vibe and get the feeling of the people who are going to buy from you. Yep. I have a third and final question regarding this one. Is how much emphasis do you put on localization? Yeah, I mean from not important to very much. It's a ad hoc scale we just found this morning. And in the meantime, I'm greeting Gabor, who is preparing his presentation. In a few minutes, he's going to go for his part. Yep, 31% voted. There's a decline in giving answers for my question. Clear declining trend. Yep, the very much localizing. Yep, great. I'm so proud of you all. Thank you very much. Yep, to wrap it up, the main parts of my presentation, the first and foremost is, I would suggest to make your first mistakes in Excel. I remember Warren Buffett saying, and he's a quite clever guy, saying that idiot with a plan can be the genius without a plan. What if you're a genius with a plan? That's the best case. The second is to choose your tailored marketing or digital marketing strategy accordingly. Just a few things work everywhere. They tend to work, but after a time, if you go over remember the 70% rule, that if you want to go beyond the 70%, localization is pretty much key to that. After the presentation, I didn't mention, but today is a special day for me personally. Not because we are having this webinar, but also because it's my birthday. So I'm going to turn it the other way around, and I would like to give you presents from Growww Digital, and there are going to be two presents. The first one is we have a special offer for these kind of planning workshops. If you're interested, for the attendees of this webinar, we are giving out 50% discount for the first 3 applicants, and the workshop includes like the market sizing, business plan, revenues and cost validation, and setting up a tailored digital marketing strategy. If you're interested, just drop me an email. The first 3 applicants get the discount. Yep, and there is a smaller one, the second special offer, which is with ROI Shopper. With Growww Digital, we have been the first agency Google CSS partners in the region, the Google comparison shopping service partners in the region. If you don't know what a Google CSS service is and you're an e-commerce company, I suggest you to Google it out as soon as possible. Basically, it gives you a 20% discount on Google shopping costs. Proven in Western Europe, CSS makes up more than half of all the Google shopping impressions. So if you go to Western Europe, don't compete without it. Within Central Eastern Europe, it gives you a competitive edge still. There's a time window. And the special offer is for the ones applying an email to css@growwdigital.com are given 2 months of free usage. Yep, and a bit of follow-up. I mentioned earlier before that our supporter is CE e-commerce export mastermind group. It's a closed Facebook private group. I founded the group as in the head of the Google certified trainer for export, and we would like to invite you, if you're an e-commerce and a C-level decision maker, we would like to invite you to join our community at the facebook.com/groups/enter-CE webinar. Link, sorry. And the second follow-up is regarding Hungarian market. We're going to deep dive into the Hungarian market this Thursday at 4 p.m. I will be the guest of Tamás Brötyik's Expandeco webinars, which have shown huge success for the past weeks, and we're going to talk about the Hungarian e-commerce market. So if you're interested in more detailed data about the Hungarian e-commerce market, then welcome on Thursday, 20th of August. On Expandeco's Facebook page, you'll see the links and the invites and everything. Thank you for your attention. We can go to the question and answers part. Yep, feel free to write your questions. Oh, thank you for the best wishes for my birthday. Basically, you're between amongst the first ones to wish me so. I turned 36 if somebody's interested. Not in me, but the data, you know. I can't get out of this normally. Yep, please repeat your email address. Thank you. It's sabo@growwdigital.com, as SZABO. Thank you. That was an easy question. that's for warming up. Yep, I'm going to write it here. How I spell my name, given by the family. Okay, Ivan Matish is asking a question. Sorry, first René Goldschmidt, did I pronounce it right, is asking a question. While talking about Google Market Explorer tool, you mentioned a tool you strongly recommend. It's going to be on the video. I can't recall it, sorry. I'm looking at my colleagues whether they can recall it. I think it was Facebook Insights. Afterwards, it was the Facebook Insights. You know, this audience planning. Google Market Explorer. It's basically you can ask your Google rep or your international growth program partner, agency partner in your countries. So the agencies and Google has access to it. Okay. More questions, maybe? Yeah, Ivan is asking a question. It will be better to ask it in 2 questions. What? Okay, it's an old one. Where are you present now, and where do you want to expand? Oh, okay, sorry, it was a question for the, yeah. Yes, fair point. We're going to do so in the next webinar. If you're interested, just please join the Facebook group and you'll get notified. Okay. I can hear you. Hi, Jakub, greetings.
Hi.
Thank you for the Google guys for presenting. World is small, just for you to to acknowledge that Jakub has already also been part of the Google team many years ago, and later on he decided to join the Berlin Brand Group team, and they managed, even with Jakub's lead as a CMO, as being responsible for digital marketing, they managed to keep up the pace like the year-on-year growth, which they had the quite impressive one since the first year. So I would like to ask Jakub to share his thoughts about how they did it. What's the secret sauce, if there is any? Where are the points where they have succeeded? Maybe some points where they have utterly failed. So let the others learn from the good and the bad ones.
Yeah, thank you very much.
What is yours?
Thank you very much for introduction. Yeah, I was actually part of Google. I do remember Gabor. I do remember Chila from Dublin office. I can only support what was already told regarding the preparation for export, either by you, Laszlo, or by Google guys. And now I'd like to maybe share my point of view from client perspective, right? So I was also preparing these export presentations a couple of years ago. And I was able to live through that actually from the position of CMO of a Berlin Brands Group company, which is actually operating in more than 20 markets currently. We do operate 40 e-shops. I apologize, I don't have any presentation, but you might be able to see my screen now. Hopefully you can see that. If not, please somebody interrupt me. Just want to quickly introduce what actually BBG does, Berlin Brands Group. We are operating in Europe, Asia, in North America. Established in 2005, currently going through some kind of rebranding and reorg. But what's kind of unique in this kind of business is that we operate with our own brands. We do currently have 14 brands in our portfolio, with more than 3,000 or 2,500 products in our portfolio. And as I've mentioned, operating in 40 shops in 20 markets. The brands we currently have are rather not known, as you probably see. It's ranging from fitness equipment with the brand Capital Sports, going through some kind of audio brands, then gardening, also the furniture, going to DJ equipment as well. One of the most well-known brands probably is Klarstein, where we are actually trying to build brand awareness around. So the range of the brands is very wide, which is a competitive advantage on one point, but on another, it's giving us a bit of split in the focus, let's say. What's also a bit of unique is that we own the whole supply chain. So we are the manufacturer, we are the designer, we do our own logistics, we do our own marketing, customer sales, customer support, almost everything. Yeah. So only like the last mile part is owned by the couriers. Every other part of the journey is owned by us, which gives us a quite good advantage on margin. We are not the reseller only. Talking about the scale, in 2019, it's not visible on this chart, but in 2019 we ended up with 220 million in gross revenue for the whole group. Currently, we are trailing almost 300 million as a group. I'm the CMO of the CEE part, which is roughly like 10 to 15% of the total revenue. We currently operate in 9 countries. So that's in 9 countries, like from this CEE part. Let me see, how do I end up the screen sharing? Okay. I'd like to maybe quickly talk about how we look at exporting. When you already finish the analysis as provided by Growww and by Google, then it's time to do the job itself, right? How we started is that we started in bulk. We launched in Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary at once. So we launched the shop in 1 year in all the 3 countries, just to gain scale. It's quite easier and often more cheaper strategy to start in more countries, because you don't have to fight for the market share in one country only. When fighting for market share, you need to invest in brand awareness, in television, in radio, maybe. So you don't have to do this offline advertising when you are present in more countries, because it's enough to make online marketing only and to gain, the low-hanging fruit revenue. What we also have an advantage is that we have our colleagues in Berlin who currently manage the Western countries, let's call it, from UK, France, Spain, but they also manage some countries where they don't have focus on. For example, Poland. Poland, from their perspective, is a fraction of revenue, don't have that much focus on that. But from our CE perspective, that's a country with a lot of potential. So what we actually did, we overtook this country management from our Berlin colleagues, because we were confident that we can generate much more revenue from the country just by putting focus on the country. And maybe this is the first thing I'd like to highlight, that you can be successful only if you put focus on what you are doing. Sounds very simple, but it's sometimes forgotten. By focus, I mean you do have an in-house team who doesn't need to understand the language itself, but it needs to be very data-driven, data-focused to understand how to create the great feeds for Google, great feeds for Facebook, how to optimize that based on data with CPCs or automated strategies. So you just dedicate a lot of time to the country. What we actually achieved just by this is double the revenue from last year. The flat revenue few years ago now is doubled. So just by putting the focus on it. One of the things which is also very simple but often forgotten is the right category naming, which could give you a great opportunity, great uplift on organic traffic, but also is very important when generating the feeds, the category feeds or product feeds for Facebook or for Google. The right category naming is essential. It's not always that easy as translating from one primary language to another language. There might be some synonyms which are more often used. There might be some nicknames for the category which need to be explored actually by maybe a native speaker. I'd like to highlight our cooperation with Growww Digital here. Guys do have native speakers and are very much helping us with this kind of focus on the right category naming. And but you can do it also by yourself on a simple basis by yourself, when you just maybe look on the volume of keyword search for the category you already have, try to find the alternatives, look on the keyword on the image search in Google to see if that is actually what you are looking for, because the synonym might give you a very interesting results which you wouldn't expect actually. So category naming when exporting is essential for organic and for creating the feed itself. How are we actually looking at the strategy? Or our overall strategy is, as I've mentioned, the export strategy. We've recently opened a very interesting country, which is Turkey. Not many CE countries are exporting to this kind of country like Turkey. It's very hard to get to the market. Just some fun facts. When we were getting there, we just needed to create a company established in Turkey just to start operating there. We created a company, but as it was an e-shop, like e-commerce company, we needed to rename it. So it was not LTD, like in Turkey you say Ticaret, that's the LTD. But we needed to add just one letter, so it's e-Ticaret, e-commerce company. This took us, 2 or 3 months to talk with the authorities. Then we were delivering our first trucks. They were actually asking for the bribes, right? So that's not something you are used to in Europe. So that was also very funny. Of course, we didn't go with the bribes. And that's why it took us almost 1 year actually from the initial steps until launching the country, launching the Turkish market. So there are these legal requirements you have to comply with in many countries, but in European Union it's usually very easy. What we usually do is we are very rigid in planning, in numbers, in like data-oriented business cases. That's what I would actually suggest, to go with the plans, with the rigid targets, not only on a revenue basis, but also on the lower level metrics, let's call it. And it's not just marketing costs, which of course needs to be a KPI. It needs to be also the margin, maybe also the logistic costs. Any variable cost which can be tracked needs to be put as a KPI, so that you could track how you're doing in the country and when do you meet your break-even point. For example, we in Turkey did hit the break-even point after I think 10 months of operations. So it means we are now only generating the revenue in Turkey. Our strategy as well, and that's probably something I'm going to refer to Latsi, is the trial and error. Of course, we go by KPIs, but mixed trial and error. We are very often trying things, new things, which are failing, but we call it prototyping. We call it we call it like we are building something which is capable of flying before we build the rocket itself. You just need to start to see how it works. If you can't do it by yourself, use outsourcing. That's again a big learning we achieved, or we are using, is that we outsource the things which we don't have time for or which we are not very good at. For example, looking 2 years back, we actually didn't have our in-house team for Google Ads management, for performance team itself. And we were already generating almost 20 million without our in-house team. Why is that so? Because when I joined, there were 5 people in marketing team, and we didn't have the scale for managing the whole AdWords. Again, kudos to Growww Digital, who actually overtook our management of the campaigns. Together, we were able to grow to the extent when we could actually afford to build our in-house team. So as I mentioned, we were 5 before. Now it's almost 20 people in the marketing team. Just because you generate the revenue and you're able to pay for the outsourcing and prototyping, two very important parts. And what I like to highlight also, when I mention the KPIs on revenue, profit margin, logistics, and so on, I'd like to highlight the transparency here. What we very much suggest and what very much helped us is when we, as let's call it management, started seeing the numbers in the balance sheet, in the income sheet, how the numbers interact with each other. Thus, we can understand how our actions actually influence the whole revenue or whole net profit of the company. Now we are thinking, in much different scales, let's call it, than just marketing cost, because how it's influenced. Currently, we are actually also considering starting a new country. So I'm just it's very fresh in my head. We are considering the numbers as mentioned by Google, the category trends, the CPC's volume of queries, but we very often compare it to benchmark of our countries, let's say compared to Czech Republic, because we know what kind of performance we have in Czech Republic, how expensive the country is. And now looking at, for example, Norway, you see that, okay, Norway, you have twice that many searches for that category, which are, but I don't know, 4 times more expensive. So, you can maybe calculate much better when you have the benchmark, not just the isolated numbers. I know talking about marketing is usually very, very easy, to calculate all the stuff, as you've seen by Chila. There are many tools how to get the numbers right. Then you also need to look at the price comparisons, the marketplaces, all the other competition which is on the market, which you can use in your advantage, or which will be your competition. And also counting for the personal cost. For example, when we are launching a country, we do usually count the personal cost of 1 to 2 person on customer support, half a person for performance marketing, for PPC, half a person for sales who are actually taking care of the pricing, and usually 1 or 2 people for translations. So as you can see, altogether, it's almost like 3, 4, 5 people for one country. And it's very important actually to launch the country with the customer support. And I cannot stress this more. It's not only for the customer care, as we've seen, is very important, but it's also for generating sales. This is, again, something we just learned, that customer support is generating almost 20% of our revenues, the gross revenues. Why is that so? People in Central and Eastern Europe are not that used on buying via internet still. Some of them are trying to call, like, what's the product specifics? Can you please order it for me? How can I get the product? You just need to be able to reply, to answer these queries. And again, just stressing this, 20% of the revenue is generated by customer support. And it's not like they are calling somebody, please buy these knives. No, they are just waiting for the calls from people who visit the website. Yep. When starting the marketing campaign, so where we are already in the country, the process is quite simple. Also, when we decide for the country, we launch the eShop, then translate the products and content in bulk. As you've seen, we have a lot of products. But we translate them in bulk, which is, hire 20 translators at once, of course, outsourcing again, just to get it very quickly up to date. We create feeds, and we start with the low-hanging fruit, as Laszlo mentioned. That's the PLAs, the DSAs, free marketing, actually everything what's feed related. Then we launch also the Facebook remarketing and DPA, launch the price comparison sites, which is very important part of revenue as well. And as I mentioned, we don't forget about the customer support. That's also the very first step we actually use when launching a new country. So that's it. Those were some of the tips I would like to share with you. If you do have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yep. Thank you, Jakub, very much. Until the time the people type their questions, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Well, maybe even more question. The first one is, what was the time when you realized that just performance marketing channels are simply not enough? Because you're going to get locked into the ROI. But I think that's a very interesting learning point for all the web shops. And when you started to invest into the brand awareness campaigns.
That's a very good question. I forgot to mention, actually, it's only now when we realize that. So I don't know, we are 10 years on the market, maybe. Still, we're able to get the low-hanging fruit just because we are on the 20 markets. So you still find, the potential there. And we are trying to increase the brand awareness. And actually, we are still not sure if we're going to do it long term or if it's the right time now. We are very number data-driven guys who need to see the outputs. We have the outputs from brand campaigns, like in 10 KPIs, it's a green light for 10 KPIs. But the 11th KPI of short-term sales is still missing. So we're still considering it. Actually.
Yep. Thank you. Great. Yep. Peter is asking, do you think it is important to provide potential customer with payment in their own currency, or it is enough to use euro in EU region?
It's essential to go with the localization here. So use the own currency, use the own payment gateways, which are very often forgotten actually on our e-shops. For example, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Poland are very known for using these bank accounts, pay by internet banking, which is not very common in the whole world. But if you don't use it in Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, you might lose like 50% of the revenue, maybe. So yep. It's very important. Not just the currency, but also the gateway itself is very important.
Yep, and the second question related to that, which card payment, by Boris Gogola, which card payment system do you recommend? Do they differ for different countries?
They actually do differ. We don't use any third party. We do use, it's called ADN. ADN is, I think it's a French company, but not sure. ADN. But I know there are local players which are quite good, like GoPay or DotPay or something like that. I would definitely recommend those. Actually, we are considering those as well.
Regarding the answer for this question, for Rotera.hu, which is basically Hungarian email, one of the CEOs during a presentation told that each and every payment system had an incremental revenue addition to it. So they saw some added value. Of course, there is, after time it gets flatter and flatter, but it makes sense to test out more gateways.
Yeah, still need to consider the costs, but yeah. You're right. Good question. If I would recommend PayPal, we do offer PayPal, but it accounts for maybe 5% of the revenue here in CEE. Not that important. In Western countries, actually quite substantial part of the revenue. So yeah, in Western Europe makes sense.
Okay, another question from Ivan. Atish, hi Ivan. Do you use Facebook Marketplace, eMAG Marketplace, etc. in Hungary?
Facebook Marketplace, that's a good point, good question. We are not using that. We might try. If you have any know-how on how to start it in bulk in all countries with 7,000 products, let's do it. eMAG Marketplace and other marketplaces, we are not using to the extent you would imagine, but we are actually exploring this topic. Marketplaces might be future of selling. Alza is converting to marketplace, Small is converting to marketplace. Amazon might come soon. Yeah, so we just hired our first marketplace manager who is able to start these cooperations.
Yeah, the European trends are interesting on this. If you look at Western European data on the recent this year's e-commerce Europe report, you can see that there's the majority is marketplace in Western Europe, while in Central Eastern Europe it's special because there are a lot of retailers and not marketplaces in Central Eastern Europe.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep. Yurai is asking a question. What do you mean about PayU? What do you think about PayU?
I don't have experience with them, but I was considering this gateway against, I think, GoPay. It's all about the countries where you operate. I was looking specifically for these bank buttons, these internet banking payments, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland. If PayU offers them, I'd go with this provider.
Yep, and maybe the last but not least question from David, the legal one. Sure. Do you have a legal entity company opened in each country? How important do you think it is having a local company from customer point of view?
We actually don't have the legal entity. The very interesting thing is that we actually don't have legal entity in Slovakia as well. So we operate under German entity only. We do this kind of drop shipping, let's call it, yeah. So selling in name of German company, sorry. But in some countries it's required. Yeah. So for example, in Turkey, you have to have the legal entity. So we do have it, but from customer point of view, we do have the local warehouses if needed for the returning of the products. Then there is very important. The legal entity in a country is probably not that much important. If you can explain why is that so?
Yep, thank you. And maybe one more question, because it's really, really interesting for Ivan. Whether you're afraid to go for Alza or Amazon Marketplace because of them seeing your data.
Selling data and get substitute your products with theirs.
So is it an issue like data protection and not going to marketplaces? Because of maybe you can sell a lot of Klarstein mixers and Alza starts selling mixers. Just a silly example.
We are afraid to go for marketplaces, but not because maybe of selling the data, but because of their scale. Just for example, the Amazon itself, it actually generates 80% of the group revenue. So we are an Amazon company. The e-shops are just the part of that. But we grew on Amazon, but in our size, the fees we pay for Amazon are in millions already. So this is actually scary, right? Yeah. And you can't just turn off the Amazon feed. You would lose 80% of the revenue.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, Jakob. Thank you very much for your appearance and sharing your experience. I think the Number of questions speak for themselves. Like, it has been a really inspiring presentation. Looking forward for your future growth.
Thank you very much. See you later, guys.
Thank you. See you later. And yep, last but not least, let me introduce Tomáš Vrtík. Tomáš is one of the guys whom I basically share a personal mission with. So Tomáš is deeply involved in expansion and export, mainly in Central Eastern Europe, but as you can see on the map, even far beyond. So with Tomáš, we used to call each other and have really inspiring talks and open talks with each other. That's why we thought that Tomáš could give a great value from their point of view, how they see expansion and export from Expandeco. So Tomáš, go ahead.
Thank you, Laszlo, for the nice word. I need to think about what will be my wishes to your today's birthday. So I will say it for, I think, all of us, that we wish you all the best, man. Keep doing your hard work, keep working, keep doing a lot of great expansion work. All the ecosystem and all the market, e-commerce market in Central and Eastern Europe needs you. So thank you for your mission, and thank you that you're having me on this presentation. Okay, guys. Hello, all of you. Let me see your comments. Let me see that you are not sleeping. Let me see your love. Show me your love in your comments. Maybe you can type me from which country you are, in which in which project you are involved, from which company you are. So guys, hello, Slovakia. Peter, hello, Slovakia. Hello, guys. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of a superstar, rock star, but without band, without fame, and without hype. but I need to see your activity. I need to feel your energy, because you know I'm like a social guy. I really like the people. Fabulo.net. Hi, Ivan. I really like the people. I really like the networking. I'm really glad when I see the feedbacks and feel the energy from the audience. So guys, when you will have some questions, feel free to ask me. I was thinking about my presentation, because I knew that Laszlo will have like some ACs in his hands, and I know that Google will share a lot of data, a lot of useful tools, a lot of useful sources. Neither Jakub with this great brand group, and I realized that I really want to. And I was thinking, what will be and what should be the key idea I want to share with you, and what should be the main message I want to share with you. And I realized that I just want to motivate you to export, to do expansion, and I just want light the fire in you, and show you the possibilities of expansion. And I hope it will be reality after this presentation. So I just want to motivate you from the business side. Like, you know, I'm from Expandeco, and Expandeco without expansion will be not there. We will not exist. 6 years ago, I created the company, and I want to outsource customer care and do some fulfillment only in Slovakia. There were a lot of competitors. I don't have any added value, and I work only in one market, which was Slovakia. And I really fast realized that this is not the way to operate only in the one market. And our company started to grow really fast after open our mind and do cross-border, and cooperate with the international companies, and do like the cross-border from south to west, from east to, I don't know, north. So from the each way. And this is, I think personally, that expansion is maybe only the one way how you can, in a long term, scale your business constantly. And that's why I'm here. That's why I want to share my thoughts with you. Okay, guys, I'm from Expandeco. My name is Tomáš Vrtík, and I'm really glad that Laci and Google invited me to this online webinar. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Expandeco. What we are doing, we try to help online stores to expand to another countries. Nowadays, we have more than 50 employees. We operated in 6 branches and operated almost in a whole of Europe with the internal capacities. And of course, our whole ecosystem consists with the partnerships with the digital agencies, logistics companies, etc. Maybe a few words about our services. We do a lot of local customer care. We do a lot of translations. Don't be afraid, guys. I'm not translating to English. We have a professional for this. It's kind of out of my comfort zone to speak up to you in English, but I want to push my barriers. We do a lot of returns. We do a lot of reverse logistics. And of course, business development, some legal and tax advices we provide to customers and to online shoppers. So if you have some questions, feel free to ask me something about VAT or legal and taxes, etc. Okay, maybe something about our references, just a few of them. Maybe you will know, for example, Notino, one of the biggest player and seller of cosmetics and perfumes. Food shop, well-known sneaker seller, maybe one of the biggest in Central and Eastern Europe. And maybe ladies will know Astratex. They are selling lingeries and they are selling underwears. Okay, guys, let's go for it. Think about it. When is for you? When do you think is the right time to expand? I think that there is a bunch of things you need to have when you want to expand, but I think that really important is to have unique products. And there is 2 points of view. You can have easily really unique niche products. And let's say that you are an online shopper from Hungary and you have a well-known brand in Hungary and you have a lot of customers and you have a lot of, and your brand awareness is really high. And maybe in Slovakia, or let's say in Slovakia, your brand is your brand awareness in Slovakia is 0. It is evident, it is advantage or it is disadvantage. You should think about it, because when no one knows you, you need to invest a lot of money into your brand awareness. But after that, you can really catch the market and you can really be successful. On the other hand, you can have products which is well known. But the disadvantage is that, okay, there is plenty of competitors. Yeah, advantage could be there is a big search volume, but you need to think about it that it will be maybe harder to expand with the product which is well known and have a lot of competitors. So, okay, we got unique product. That's great. Another thing is I think you should have a set really good processes. Because with the expansion goes in 95% of cases goes really big growth of your online e-commerce. And when you expand really fast, each little disease in your company will grow to a big monster. Do you have now good local customer care? Do you have good return management? Do you have set it up processes in your company? And are you ready for maybe 3-digit percentage growth in the next months? This is the questions you need to think about, the processes, and be prepared for the next growth is really, really important. I think when you want to expand, I think you should generate a profit. Constantly, in the long term. Sometimes shoppers asking me, Tomáš, I'm not succeeding in Slovakia, online shopper from Slovakia. Tomáš, I'm not succeeding in Slovakia, but I think Hungary should be the right market. I think that I can beat the competitors. And I'm like, come on. when you are not succeed in your country, what is the cookbook that you want to use, for example, in Hungary? You think that the people in Hungary are like crazy, or what's your thinking about it? Because, you know, it's really important to have really stable business in your country. You need to be you know, you have to have experiences. You have to, you know, there is also falls and some stand-ups, and it's good when you in the last time or in the past you go through all these things and you have a stable online business in your own country. If you are not stable in your country, then you are just a shooter, and I will not recommend you to expand to another countries because you will waste your money. Yeah. So really important for me is like your and it connects and with it. It's your financial stability. You know, you need to have a great cash flow because Lati said it. I really recommend too to have a prepared business plan for your expansion, because you need to know how many money you want to invest to the new market. You have to know what will be the cost of translations, localization, local customer care, returns, etc. So be prepared and be ready from the point of view of your cash flow. Be ready on, of course, from point of view of your, for example, warehouses. I have a friend, personal friend, and he's struggling with his warehouse because he wants to expand. He knows that he got the cash flow and money for the more goods and more stuff, but he's not able to rent more space and more warehouses in his town where he's from. So that's for him, it is a big issue. So there is a plenty of operational things you need to think about, but I think one of the most important things, if you are ready and if you have a good cash flow to invest and to have prepared money for next expansion. And another interesting thing is that if your growth is slower than the average growth in your segment, it means like, come on, maybe you got like 10 years old company, and first 2 or 3 years you grow like 3-digit percentage and it was great, but maybe last 10 years you are growing like year to year like 5, 6, 7, 10%, and whole segment, let's say you know, lingeries, growing like 30% in your country. It is the sign that is something wrong. Maybe you need to bring to your business more innovation. But I think that last years, a lot of companies, a lot of competitors, which you maybe don't even know, are expanded and abroad, and that's the reason why they are growing so fast. So think about how fast you grow. And compare it with the segment you are selling. And why is good expand? That's a good question. I think that it's really important to realize that globally marketplaces own 56% of gross cross-border e-commerce. It is cross-border e-commerce shopper survey from 2017, and it sets some interesting data, like, for example, Amazon is the most popular cross-border web shop in Luxembourg, with share of 72%, and Austria share 64%. AliExpress, for example, was most popular in Russia, with share of 69%, and in the Netherlands, their share of AliExpress is 35%. So, like, the one big reason is that the big whales are really coming, and we need to realize that. As Lati said from Growww Digital, yeah, Amazon maybe is not so much interested into divided local markets like Slovakia and Hungary and Croatia, but I think the times will come. Maybe not next year, maybe not in next 3 years, but When someone asks me if in 10 years will Amazon operate in this Central and Eastern area, I will say definitely yes. But there is no only Amazon. There is really strong local players like Alza from Czech Republic, which I know that, for example, in Hungary, they are the, I guess, third biggest online store after a few years. The stronger and stronger is eMAG. In Poland is really strong Allegro. Heureka Group have a really huge plans how to approach Central and Eastern European market with their local comparison sites. Like, for example, in Hungary, it is Áru Kereső. Let me know if I'm good of spelling it. So, yeah, big pressure of big whales, and we need to be ready. And really, again, I will tell it during this presentation, I think a lot of times, the expansion is one of, maybe only one, the way how can you constantly and in the long term scale your business and maybe defend big players. Okay, another reason, big reason, is we have a small barriers, especially in Central and Eastern Europe. I think there is great ecosystem of digital agencies, logistics companies, consultant companies, translation and localization companies, and only one barrier, I think, is inside us. You know, we need to do step and go out of our comfort zone and just educate and see the possibilities, which brings us, let's say, this webinar with the Google and Growww Digital. A lot of really high value information. Work with it. I just want to motivate you to think about all the things. Think about your business. That's important. Again, scale your business, scale your sales. You know, the COVID times were like great from around one point of view. We received a great feedbacks from our customers. And they were like, oh, Tomasz, in the first wave, like first week, we were really afraid, everything stops and everyone were scared. And we really didn't know what will happen. But let's say our Czech market was like, has flashed like for 1 week, but our Bulgarian, Croatian market, we're doing like 130%, everything goes great. And the wave goes like market after market. And at the end of the day, they really appreciate that they are able to sell through the 8 countries, because the waves goes country by country. You know, somewhere it will decrease the sales, somewhere increase a lot of sales, and at the end of the day, it was like great numbers. So, and they'll really scale their sales, and they really appreciate it. So when you operate on more than one market, it's great because you scale your sales, and you can sell more goods. Maybe you can have better prices for from your distributors, etc. So think about it. You can also scale your internal human resources. Let's think about it. Your warehouse guys, he don't give a peep if he is packaging for Slovak guy or for Hungarian, from Croatian guy. He's still in your warehouse, and he could like package to a whole Europe. Maybe your PPC guy. Okay, when he's a great PPC guy, why? I think if he or she got a great know-how, she or he could use it for in foreign market. Only one barrier is there, and there is like some language barrier. But again, we have ecosystem which can help you and break the barriers, translators, etc. And of course, from point of view of your company value, yeah, when you maybe have a dream to sell sometimes your company to some investor, to some rich guy, I think that your company will have for sure bigger value when you will sell in 10 or 15 countries in Europe. Okay, guys, some interesting maybe insights or data just to realize, just to think about it. 33% of European online customers shops abroad. Like, it's not like no one is buying from abroad. So think about it. but it is really important to share with you another idea. I don't have it on a slide, but another source, Beglot.com, says that 55% customer will place order only in a fully localized e-shop. So think about localization. It's really strong theme. It's really interesting to think about, to be localized, fully localized in your country. Just imagine, sometimes I got the questions like, oh, you know, I'm thinking only that I just want to translate my web store to English, and I will just do some activities and try to do some Facebook and some Google marketing, but I will do customer care in English, and I want to sell in Hungary and in Romania. And ask yourself, would you buy something from some English store? Okay, we maybe don't have so much problem with English, but I think that you will more likely buying something from your local store, that you can see the local number, that you can see that, okay, there is a online chat window, and then a nice guy asks you how can he help you in your own language. So it's really important to think about it. Maybe another thing, maybe another interesting information. This is numbers and sources enet.hu, and showing us number of Hungarians buying from abroad. I guess it's that at least one buying in the year from Hungarian customers. You know, I think that Slovak, Czech, and Poland online stores do a lot of hard work, because I know I have internet data from Expandeco and from some logistics companies, and I know how many companies from Slovakia, from Czech Republic, and from Poland, how many companies are expanded to Hungary. It's more than 3,000. So just realize it's a huge amount of online stores, and yeah. And they are, of course, fully localized. So they have Hungarian customer care, they have the local address for returns, they have completely localized web shop. They use, for example, when we are in Hungary, we use the payment gateway Barion, yeah, which is well known in Hungary. So for me, this number is not so surprising, maybe like for you. Another interesting number is that 76% of Croatians buys in foreign shops. It means, yeah, Croatian e-commerce, it's not so far that Slovak and especially Czech e-commerce. So really, it's maybe common thing that people are looking for foreign companies, or for they are easily buying things abroad. Again, I have to say that it's really important to be localized. We got a question from Janka Batnova here. Is it, in your opinion, important the localization also for Slovak e-shop expanding to Czech market? The languages are not the same, but similar enough. Yeah, good question, great question. But again, we need to think about how Czech people search in Google. In Slovak? Yeah, that's the question. They are not just searching in Slovak. Yeah, sometimes, especially when it's some commodity, let's say I'm looking for some great sneakers, and I know the header, I know the main header of the product. Yeah, I can put it to comparison site or into Google, and I don't care if only Czech online store sells it. I don't have a problem to buy from Czech stores, because I can check if his credibility is, if I can give him or my credibility or his credibility. So I think it's not, and I think it's good to have a localized online store from Slovakia to Czech Republic and in an opposite way, because you know, every time just look on this topic or on this question from your eyes. Like, okay, it could work. without translations, but okay, it could be maybe 1, 2, 3% of my future failure on this market. And do I want like maybe save like a few hundreds of euros for translations to possibly lose my next success in this market? So from my point of view, yes, go for it. And I also recommend to put on your website, when you are Slovak store and you want to expand to Czech Republic, local Czech number. We got a lot of experiences because we do a lot of, like really a lot of communications for a lot of online stores. We have actually approximately 150 active online stores operating in 10 languages. We have monthly more than 40,000 communications or interactions with the customers. So I got some know-how behind it. And it's really great when you offer to your customer local number, etc., etc. And sometimes they are really surprised that, oh yeah, you are from Slovakia. Yeah, it's Slovak company, but we are fully localized, so that's why you didn't realize that you are buying from Slovak company. That's the award from customer. That when you said when something like that said to you, like, I don't even know that you are foreign online store. That's the biggest award from customer to your online store. Okay, let's go ahead, guys, because a lot of things in front of us. Okay, so how to choose the right foreign market? I think that this topic was really great explained from Laci, from guys from Google. And again, I would say that, guys, CPC and competition are not everything. Look for the best ecosystem. What does it mean? Look on the expansion, like from the point of view of your business. Like do you have maybe some guy in your team? Let's say you are Hungarian online store, and maybe you got in your internal team guy with a great Slovak language. Why you shouldn't use his language advantage to approach the Slovak market? So just look around you. Maybe you got logistic partner and they can give you great price to Ukraine. Like maybe you should start to think expand to Ukraine. So think about the possibilities around you. Maybe your agency have a great results with another clients in Croatia. So think about it. It's not only about the CPC. It's not only about the competition. I think it's mostly about a whole ecosystem. Maybe you are, for example, in near the Romanian borders, and it makes sense for you to do logistic on your own and send your van to Romanian nearest warehouse, and you will have a great advantage because you can sell the goods really fast to Romanian customers when you are from Hungary. So think about it. When you want maybe some one-on-one consultation with me, I'm free. I'm free. We totally give free consultations. We try to invest to the market. We try to educate all the market, and for me, it's kind of mission to educate about growth, about the expansion. Okay, let's go ahead. Yeah, some useful tools for expansion. I think that Laci will share and spread this and even another presentations to you. This is sources and tools which are really great to check when you want to expand. I think we could go forward because a lot of things were said in presentations before for mine. So, guys, I believe that I kind of motivate you to think about expansion. There is a lot of things to do, but when you have the right partner, it's not like rocket science. But I want to motivate you and want to push you to think out of your limits, and I will have a finger crossed to your next expansion. So, Guy, from me now it is everything, because we don't have so much time. We promise you to share some insights from BBLUE case study about returns in Central and Eastern Europe. We will send it to you directly to your emails, and you can check it. And if you will have some questions, feel free to contact me. I will be really glad to share you my thoughts and the results of the case study with the BBLUE personally, one-on-one. So again, thank you very much to whole Google and Growww Digital team. It was really pleasure for me to talk with you and to share my thoughts with you. Guys, thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you so much for being the last but not least presenter, being a pearl for today's webinar and putting the crown on it, and also to all the guys, Csilla, Gábor, Jakub, and Tomasz, of course. I hope I didn't leave anybody out. So yep, myself. So maybe one last follow-up. I would like to ask my colleague to put there the banner. I would like to gladly invite you to our secret closed Facebook e-commerce mastermind group. Now it's no secret anymore. Please do fill out the questionnaire forms right there, because based on those we are going to let you in. Now the banner will come just in a second. In the meantime, one last question for Tomasz. Where can I contact you, Tomasz?
Where can you contact me, Tomasz? You can contact me on my email, vertig@expandeco.com. I'm on my phone. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm a little bit on Twitter. I'm online.
Okay, right. So thank you, guys. I'm going to write into the comments. I'm going to write it into the comments, the Facebook group. Never mind, no banner. Thank you very much for your attendance. After shutting it down, please do leave us your feedback. You can rate today's webinar from 1 to 5. I'm going to catch up with you guys later with the BBLUE case study and the video recordings. Thank you very much. And please don't forget to rate it. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.